Good morning, everyone. Hearty welcome to all the participants for the day three webinar on latest technologies organized by ATME College of Engineering from Computer Science Engineering Department. As you all know, we are in day three. We have one more distinguished speaker, Ms. Nagalakshmi T.S., Assistant Professor from Department of Electronics and Instrumentation Engineering from GSSS IETW Mysuru. She has joined us today to deliver her topic on Introduction to Artificial Intelligence and its Tools. I extend a very warm welcome to you, ma'am, on behalf of Computer Science and Engineering Department and on behalf of ETME College of Engineering.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
And I also welcome all the professors from various esteemed institutions and all the student participants for this webinar who have joined us today. And I think this is an opportunity to read out the profile of today's speaker, Ms. Nagalakshmi T.S. She is currently working as the assistant professor in the Department of Electronics and Instrumentation Engineering. She has also worked in Wipro Mysore. She has pursued her MTech in Advanced Embedded System from Reva University. She has completed her Bachelor of Engineering in Instrumentation Technology from GSSS IETW Mysore. She is currently working on 3 projects to name. She's working on health monitoring and assistance system based on yogic science using IoT and machine learning. Design and developed Raspberry Pi based fruit salad vending machine with e-payment. Gboard created with Smart Zone during College Fest Curtain Raiser. She has associated with various activities. She has been a resource person for a one-day workshop on Introduction to IoT with hands-on at Vivekananda Institute of Technology, Bangalore. And she has conducted 3-day SDB on IoT with Python. Area of research interest includes IoT, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and embedded system. Attended faculty development program on machine learning, IoT bootcamp, ARM Cortex M3, IoT and industrial application, IoT industrial application front-end and back-end design. And she has also published various papers in national and international journals and attended conferences as well. And she has worked in organizing webinar, faculty development program. She has organized workshop, industrial visit, technical talk for the students. And she has also worked and coordinated national and international conferences and conducted robotic competitions and GSSS IETW. It's a great honor and pleasure to have you with us today. I once again welcome you for this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, as you all know, I request all the participants to raise your queries in the comment section in the YouTube link. Your question will be forwarded to the speaker. Without wasting much of the time, I'll give the control to you, ma'am. You can start with the session. Thank you.
Yeah. Good morning, all. So today I'll be delivering introduction to artificial intelligence and the tools that are available to develop this AI system. So what is AI? When you get into any kind of a website or at least daily once, you'll be hearing a course offered in artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, and all. So what is the importance of gaining the knowledge on artificial intelligence, why the artificial intelligence systems are required? So these things I'll be covering, and various tools are available in order to build up this artificial intelligence system. So I'll be covering that also. So what is an intelligence? How you can able to say that a person is intelligent or not? It's based on the learning skills, ability to put that skills in a right time, in a right way, and have that informations in your memory, right? So in order to build any kind of a intelligent system artificially, like we want to make a system to work, think, and behave like a human. So that is what the major concept of a artificial intelligence system. In order to build this artificial intelligence system, there are various tools available. We'll be covering that tools, and I'll be taking one example program to explain that particular tool. Okay, so I'll be covering these topics in today's session. So coming to the introduction part, as I said, intelligence systems are nothing but the systems which are quite intelligent. As a human, we have human intelligence system, but in the same pattern, we want to make the system to think like a human, behave like a human, and take certain decisions like a human. In order to build up this system, the group of scientists thinking about to build this kind of a systems, and they like psychologist, mathematician, uh, biologist, every scientist work together, and they come up with a one concept called this artificial intelligence. And this terminology, that is artificial intelligence, was generally coined by the John McCarthy in 1956. Before that, the scientists were working on the neural networks in 1940s, and all the scientists were working on neural networks. So neural network acts as a basic to this artificial intelligence system. So this neural networks helps the scientists to come up with this idea where a processor, why can't the processor can take up an opportunity to just work like a human beings, right? So in order to make this system to happen, lots of tools, algorithms are required. So this algorithm tool development got started in 1970s and 1980s. Then after that, in from 2000 onwards, it take a huge diversion, and in every field, the people are trying to apply this artificial intelligence concept. Normally, when we say this artificial intelligence, as the name indicates, it is a system which is built with certain intelligence, not the original intelligence as the humans have. It's a mimic of a human intelligence. So that's why it is called as the artificial intelligence. So this intelligence systems are designed in order to in order to think, behave, and take certain decisions just like a humans. So in order to build up this artificial intelligence system, we have a lot of tools. These tools I'll be covering in today's session. And why these artificial intelligence systems are needed? It's because, as I said, for example, if you take to differentiate the animal as well as the human. So I want to build a system in order to differentiate the animal and the human. In that case, you should have certain data of the animal, that is, say, images of the animal, and in the same way you should have images of the humans also, right? So when a test data, it's all predefined set, which I told just now, that is a predefined images of the human beings and predefined images of the animals. Okay, consider you don't have an artificial intelligence system, and you want to make the system to recognize this is a human or not, or this is an animal or not. Okay, in order to build up this system, what the real-time data is required. That suppose you put a camera in front of a camera, you make an animal to stand or a human to stand. So in that case, what happens? A system should take an image of the human or the animal which is in front of it, and compare this image with the predefined database. Once it gets compared with each other, then it should throw that after going through the comparison of hundreds of images, it should come up with a one result. That is one conclusion, that whatever the thing which are there in front of a camera is animal or not, or human or not. In order to do this, it takes a lot of time, and it used to take a lot of memory, because in order to store hundreds and thousands of images, you require much database, and in order to compare with each, it takes a lot of time. So you put the information today and make the system to analyze and get it result by tomorrow. Is it good enough? No, right? We want the system to give a instant result, and it should give a good accurate result. So in order to get this, you should have a high processor system which can able to take multiple information and produces at a faster rate, or gives the result at a faster rate with a more accurate result. Okay. If you don't have artificial or machine learning system, what happens? The real image which is captured by the camera will be compared with the individual images that you have stored in the memory. So it takes huge amount of time, and once or if the comparison is done, and if you won't be able to get a good accurate result, it doesn't mean anything. So in order to do this, we require this artificial intelligence system where all those thousands of images of the human and thousands images of the animals have been trained, and based on the training data set, the real information, the real data will be compared, and those real data which compares with the trained data gets the result in an instant, and gives the result at an instant of at a very faster rate. So in order to do this, there are tools that are available, and there is a requirement of the artificial intelligence. Okay, and if you take a small example, you want to build a robot, and this robot will be having lots of mathematical expressions and thousands of expressions. So in order to do this thousands of expression computation, you require a lot of time. So if you have an artificial intelligence system, then you can able to get the result at a very faster rate. And very important thing is, whatever the result that you have got, it should be accurate. So you may not be able to get 100% accuracy, but you will be getting at least 98 to 99% accurate result. And the one more important thing is, as I said, artificial intelligence systems are the system which thinks like a human and behaves like a human and takes certain decisions just like a human, right? So in order to take a decision, we want this artificial intelligence system. Okay, for example, you want to build a humanoid robot. For example, Sophia is there, which is considered as a citizen of Saudi Arabia. So it is what it gives, whatever the conversation that is coming, whatever the information that is required from the user end, it gives the result, and it helps in conversation also, and it takes certain decisions just like a humans. So this artificial intelligence system should gives a good accurate result, and should have a capability of taking decisions, and it should perform very well at a faster rate, and it should have a capacity to solve the complex problems. So in order to build AI system, these are the requirements to build a AI system. Then coming to the challenges like it should be very trustworthy, and it should be human interfaceable one. Trustworthy is nothing but, suppose you are making a friend, and on what basis you are making a friend? It's based on the trust, right? So there should be artificial intelligence system should build up a trust. Then it's very difficult challenge also. Suppose you build a system to access a firefighting robots. Instead of firefighting, if it hits you only, it looks funny, right? So in order to build up a trust and interface with a human efficiently, and for all this requirement, AI system, data is required, the computation processors are required, the memories are required. So those are the one more challenges, and the investment and the product deployment or the development is very high, and there might be chances of malfunctioning and legal issues. So these are the certain challengeable areas where AI people are looking in to develop a good AI system, considering all these things in their mind. Coming to the classification, artificial intelligence, we have it is broadly classified into two categories. One is type 1 category and the type 2 category. So type 1 category, in type 1 category, we have narrow AI, general AI, and the strong AI. And in the type 2 category, we have reactive machines, limited, theory mind, and the self-awareness. Type 1 category, wherever if you search in a Google, you'll be getting this type 1 result. That is, the artificial intelligence systems are classified into narrow, general, or strong AI. But whether it is aware, does it have, will it have a memory or not? Whether it can able to react with the system or not. So in these are the one set of categories, so which belongs to the type 2 one. Okay, so type 1, we have narrow eye, which is also called as a weak AI. This weak AI system or a narrow AI systems are meant to perform one single task at a time. If the system is built to, in order to, if the system is built in order to do data analysis, then it is meant for the data analysis. If the system is built to detect or recognize an object, it is meant for the object recognition only. It cannot do the data science and the object recognition together. So that is the narrow AI system. Coming to the general AI system, it can exhibit multiple tasks just like a human. So this kind of AI system you can see in fictions movies, sci-fi movies, where it can listen, it can react with the environment, it can do the task and all. So that is what generally what the humans can perform the task. That if that is possible by the robots, then we can call that system as a general artificial intelligence system. Then the third category is a strong AI. Strong AI is beyond the cognitive performance, where it suppresses the humans itself. So that is what the strong AI. Still, the research is going on to build a general AI only. But if the strong AI comes, it's very difficult to manage. So there should be, there should be some legal activities, or we have to monitor the malfunctioning of those strong artificial intelligence system. Okay, but narrow AI is available. General AI is developing stage, and certain companies already developed this general AI system. And strong AI, it's in a developing stage and it's still in a research state. Okay, coming to the type 2 category, we have a reactive machines. Reactive machines are the most basic type of artificial intelligence system, where it does not store any memory or the past experiences. For example, Google AlphaGo, Deep Blue systems comes under the reactive machine. Coming to the limited memory, it can store the past experiences, some data for a short amount of time. For example, if you take a self-driving cars, which can store recent speed of the nearby cars, the distance of other cars, and the speed limitations of that. So that it has a limited memory, like which can store the past experiences. Based on the past experience, it can take up the decision. So that comes under the limited memory, and also this limited memory is a part of the general AI system. The third category is the theory of mind. This one should understand the human emotions, people, beliefs, etc. If you say something through emotionally, then a robot should be able to respond to that emotion. So that is what the theory of mind is all about. It can understand the human beliefs. If it can able to understand the emotions of the humans, then that robot comes under that kind of a systems comes under the theory of mind. It's still under developing stage. And lastly, the self-awareness, just like or more smarter than the humans. So this self-awareness, it's highly impossible. I mean, maybe possible, but it is quite difficult to build that kind of a system. But you can able to build the reactive machines, limited memory, or the theory of mind. If you can able to build a reactive machine, then it is well and enough to get into the artificial intelligence system. Then you can upgrade yourself to build a general artificial intelligence system with the limited memory and all. Those things are working in companies and all. So if you can able to build this narrow AI with reactive machine, then it is well enough. Then you can upgrade yourself to build a strong AI, general artificial intelligence system with limited memory and all. And coming to the applications, wherever you go, those artificial, as I said, from 2000 onwards, the artificial intelligence system is deployed in all the fields. If you take robots, if you take cell phones, e-commerce, stock marketing analysis, self-driving cars, astronomy, medical field. So in almost all the areas, this artificial intelligence is deployed. For example, Facebook or the Amazon, if you have searched some laptops and all in the Amazon or some mobiles in the Amazon or the Flipkart, after few searches, then it throws that the recommended, it gives all the results that is that you are searching for. So that is a part of artificial intelligence again. And if you go to the medical field, there are certain systems people are trying to develop, and they have developed also. I think they've developed CT machine or MRI machine where it scans the human body or the related parts of the human body and gives the result. Also gives the prescription that is usually used to give by the doctor. So you don't require a doctor at all. The entire machine itself is going to give the starting from scanning to the end report, and also gives that you are supposed to take this kind of a medicines like that. Okay, and this artificial intelligence system is also trying to develop in the industrial plants in order to monitor the plants. Monitor is already available, but if in case something went wrong in the plant or manufacturing plant, then the system should be able to come up with a solution for it, and immediately the reaction should take place in an effective manner so that the plant can work normally. Otherwise, in the same way, based on the current scenario, it's going to predict that the system is may work fine or not, what happens in the future, and it can able to take up the required measurement in order to avoid the unavoidable situations. So that kind of a system the people or the research people are trying to develop. In the robotics, we have artificial intelligence robots. As I said, Sophia is one best example, which is already considered as a citizen of Saudi Arabia. Like that, in every field, this artificial intelligence systems is deployed. And you can you can able to at least get once this terminology, that is artificial intelligence, machine learning, or deep learning. What is this AI, ML, deep learning and all? You have neural networks also. You have you can hear the machine learning. You have data scientists, data science jobs and all, which includes artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learnings and all. So what is the difference between these three? Usually people used to tell that the machine learning system and artificial intelligence system, right? So they use this terminologies oftenly. In case of machine learning, they use artificial intelligence. In case of artificial intelligence, they use machine learning. So what is this difference between these three? In a broader perspective, artificial intelligence are the systems which allows the computers to mimic the human intelligence, including all the logics, machine learning, deep learning algorithm, and decision trees algorithm. Whereas a machine learning, it's a subset of the artificial intelligence, and deep learning is a subset of machine learning. So inside this deep learning, you'll be having a neural network models. So neural network model, the basic neural network model, neurons, those number of layers of the neural networks, if you have n number of layers in the n number of hidden layers, then it is called as a deep neural network. Deep neural network acts as a base for the deep learning mechanism, and this deep learning mechanism is a part of a machine learning, and this machine learning along with the deep learning is a part of the entire artificial intelligence system. Okay, so whenever you are trying to develop an artificial intelligence system, then it includes the machine learning. This machine learning includes the deep learning. Inside this deep learning, you'll be having a networks, that is neural network, artificial neural network. Because see, when something happens, in humans, the brain acts as a master computer, right? So whenever whatever the information that is has to be gained through the sensor organs, it will be stored in the memory. Whatever the information that you learn through the eyes or through the speech or through the listening, it will be stored in the memory. And if something, the data to be transferred from the brain to the different parts of the body, the neural networks is used, right, in the humans. In the same way, in order to build an artificial intelligence system, this artificial neural network, which is a mimic of a human neural networks, acts as a base to build up this artificial intelligence system. Okay, so for example, if you take, suppose you keep your hand on a hot body, what happens immediately? You'll take up this hand from this hot body, right? How fastly you'll be getting that information from your brain, and how fastly the neurons get stimulus and sends the information to the brain, right? Within a fraction of second, within the microseconds and nanoseconds, you'll take your hand from that hot body. Why? Because as soon as you keep this hot body on your hand on the hot body, a stimulus will be produced through the fingers or through the palms. That stimulus helps the nervous system, that particular nervous system, to activate the brain cells based on the previous actions, whatever it is stored. The brain gives immediate reactions through the neurons and through the networks of these neurons to take up your hand from that hot body. Okay, so this is what we want to make this system to work like. So if you if you tell a robot to keep on a hot body, immediately that robot has to take up, even though it could not able to sense it. It should find enough to take up its hand from that hot body. So in order to develop this kind of a system, neural networks are required. That is the artificial neural network, which is a part of a artificial intelligence system. So overall, artificial intelligence system is a major one, which just like a mimic of the human intelligence. Within that, you'll be having a machine learning algorithms, and within that machine learning, you'll be having a deep learning mechanism where you have n number of artificial neural network layers. In order to build up any kind of a AI system, three major requirements are there. One is the data, that is the information, which could be in the numbers, strings, images, or voice, etc. Along with the data, you should have one storage devices, and data with storage is not enough. You should have enough tool to design the particular model. So you require tools to build a system, or you require tools that uses this information or the data which is stored in the database to do certain task based on the user requirement. So the data also plays an important role. The data could be or the information could be in any format, like text, numbers, images, voices, anything. The storage, where exactly this information to be stored, whether it is to be stored on the local disk or in the cloud. Then coming to the tools, to build any model, we require these tools. Okay, so these three are the major important things in order to build up a AI system. Without data, if you have a tool, it's again waste. Without storing those data, you have information, real information and tool, again it is not at all required, because in order to build a AI system, learning is required, that is machine learning is required. So machine learning includes this predefined data sets. So these, if you have predefined data set, obviously it has to be stored somewhere in the memory, right? So without storage devices and you have only data and tool, again it's waste. So all three are very important. If you have laptop and the laptop without operating system, you just have a keyboard, display, everything is ready. Without operating system, will it be possible to make the system to work? No, right? Operating system, if you have operating system only, then you can able to make use of the keyboard and the LCD screens and all. So in the same fashion, so in order to build any kind of a AI, you require the data or the information, that is quite useful one, and the storage, where exactly the data to be stored, the storage element. Along with that, you require a proper tool. Okay, you can take an example. You have usually you have Fitbit watches. Most of the people use Fitbit watches in order to track how much calories burnt, how much steps they've taken, moved, and what is the pulse rate and all. And what you'll be doing, connect to the Bluetooth to the through the app, you'll be monitoring all those information. Again, whatever the information that you can able to pass from the Fitbit watch through to the Android app, again it is a data. So without analyzing those data, it acts as again the chunk of data. So what you'll do, after many days, you'll clear the caches and that information will be removed. You may not be able to get how much steps you have gone through and what was the average pulse rate in the last week, right? So whatever the data that is available, it has to be analyzed in a proper way. Then only you can, then only we can say that, oh, that data is quite used. So that data could be used to predict the future or predict what can happen. So if you can able to build that kind of a system, that is well and enough. Otherwise, keeping the data without using it, again, it's very waste. So an analysis to be done. This analysis involves the usage of tools. There are many tools that are available in the market. Could be the open source tool or could be the paid version tools. So these are the tools, say Scikit-learn is there, Keras is there, Theano is there, Google Cloud Tools is there, MathWork, Microsoft, IBM, Neuro, Open Neural Network. All these tools are available, except I think MathWork, Microsoft, IBM, to certain extent Google also. All other tools are open source tools. So you can use this open source tool to build a AI system. Okay, I will be covering hardly few tools. I will not go deeper into all the tools. I just take few tools and I'll take one tool and I'll show how to use those tools in your Python programming. Okay. So the first tool is the scikit-learn tool. Scikit-learn is a free software, open source and tool, which is especially for Python programming. It can come in two or three different way. One is this scikit-learn tool can be used for the classification, that is with discrete class labels, and you can use the scikit-learn for a regression, which is a part of a supervised learning, where the output signal is continuous. And you can use the scikit-learn tool to make clustering, so which is a part of unsupervised learning. So it supports all these two, that is supervised learning as well as unsupervised learning algorithm. And for users, NumPy for high performance linear algebra and array operation. And it also supports Matplotlib, Pandas, SciPy, all these library packages. Okay, so usually the scikit-learn tool is used to build a system for the data analysis. Coming to the TensorFlow, it is used for a neural network based application developed by the Google teams. So it can work on the platforms like Linux, Mac, Android, Windows, JavaScript. It can run on multiple CPUs and the GPUs, that is central processing unit and graphical processing unit, with the optional CUDA, that is Compute Unified Device Architecture, specially created by the NVIDIA team in order to do the graphical processing. So this TensorFlow can be run on both the GPU architecture and CPU based architecture. In 2016, the first generation of the Tensor Processing Unit, and which is an application specific integrated chip that is developed by the Google, specially built for the machine learning based application. So with 8-bit architecture, they come up with a one processing unit, that is, they call it as a TPU, which is a specially application specific integrated chip that is helps to that special chip is built in order to perform this machine learning or artificial intelligence based activities. So in 2018, the Google come up with the third generation, which can work on the Google Cloud Platform. So in 2016, they come up with the first generation, which can work with just 8-bit, and with the development in 2018, they applied the TensorFlow unit, which can work on the Google Cloud Platform. So that is about the TensorFlow, and there is a Caffe. Caffe is also open source tool, which is used for the deep learning, especially for the computer vision based applications. For example, if you want to recognize certain objects, then you can take up this Caffe model. This Caffe works with the convolution neural network. Convolution neural network again is a part of deep neural network, and it can also works on CPU and GPU modes. And you can install this Caffe models on Windows, Ubuntu, Debian, or Fedora. Suppose you want to develop a project which can able to recognize objects, then using Raspberry Pi. So if you are building that kind of a system, then this Caffe model suits best for that application. You can install this Cafe model into the Raspberry Pi, which is a Debian-based operating system. Using this Cafe model, you can easily able to detect or recognize the object. Then coming to the Apache Mahout, Apache Mahout is primarily focused on linear algebra and statistical based application. It is used for both classification and clustering. You have certain algorithm for classifications as well as clustering. So this Mayotte can able to perform the classification and clustering based things, and it can works on both the Windows and Linux operating system. And the companies like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Yahoo and all, they uses this Apache Mayotte for the internal application development. Theano is one more tool used for manipulating and evaluating the mathematical expressions, and especially the multidimensional arrays. And also it can work with the CPU and GPU based architecture. It also works on the platforms like Windows, Mac and Linux all. And again, Theano can be used for the data science application. If you want to predict something, you can use this Theano. Theano also supports this TensorFlow. TensorFlow uses Theano as a part of it. So if you just install TensorFlow, you can use this Theano through the TensorFlow itself. Otherwise, you can use Theano as a separate tool in your program. The Keras is open source neural network library. It is majorly focused on user-friendly, modular and extensible applications. It is capable of running on top of TensorFlow, Microsoft Cognitive Toolkit, R along with Theano. In 2017, Google TensorFlow team started giving support to this Keras in TensorFlow library. So as I said, in the Theano, through the TensorFlow, you can call this Theano tool also. In the same way, through the TensorFlow, you can call this Keras tool also. Otherwise, you can use this Keras as a separate toolkit. Otherwise, if you install TensorFlow, then you can through the TensorFlow, you can call this Keras. That is why I mentioned from TensorFlow import Keras. That is, from the TensorFlow library, you are importing this Keras toolkit. Coming to the PyTorch. PyTorch is used for the computer vision and natural language processing, and it is developed by the Facebook Artificial Intelligence Research Team. It's a piece of deep learning, that is PyTorch based deep learning is used in Tesla cars, Uber's Pyro, etc. So this some part of artificial intelligence system in Tesla car, they use this PyTorch especially for the computer vision application. For example, camera is fit into the Tesla car, and it has to analyze, or it has to take up what is the at what distance the other cars are. Okay, so through the computer vision only, the system will gives the result at what distance the cars are. So in order to build this simple application, they might have used this PyTorch. Okay, and the open neural network, which is available as an open source toolkit written in C++. This open neural network allows deep learning, and also helps for multiprocessing programming by means of OpenMP, which is nothing but open multiprocessing to increase the performance of the computation. And this one is used for data mining. predictive analytics, etc. MATLAB. Till now we have discussed all the open source tools, and coming to the paid version, the MATLAB is there and Microsoft is there, Google to some extent, and also the IBM. So IBM and all, there's not much resources are not available, I guess, but MATLAB and Microsoft are available. So MATLAB is basically developed by the MathWork team. You have different toolboxes. So inside this MATLAB tool only, you have different toolboxes for based on the application. For example, if you want to analyze the text, so you have text analytics toolbox, which provides the algorithm and visualization for pre-processing, analyzing, and modeling the text data. Suppose you want to build up a deep neural networks and with a models trained in a deeper way. So in that cases, deep learning toolboxes are available. If you want to build a statistical data or just data analytics, then you have a separate toolbox called statistics and machine learning toolbox, which provides functions to describe, analyze, and model the data. It supports both supervised and unsupervised algorithm and few reinforcement algorithms also. So based on the requirement, you can go for the toolboxes, individual toolboxes. Many research are going on this platform, MathWork based artificial intelligence system development. Most of the robots in the robotic application and all, they started working by using the MATLAB toolboxes. So if you are good enough in MATLAB comments, and if you have a MATLAB setup, a paid version MATLAB setup, and you have a license, then you can access this toolboxes to build a artificial intelligence system. Then Microsoft Azure. This Microsoft Azure is again just like a MATLAB toolboxes. Even this also have a sub toolboxes where if you want to process the cloud-based application, you have Azure Databricks. If you want to analyze this vision and speech, languages, and web-based searches and all, you have a cognitive service toolbox. And if you want to analyze or build, train and deploy the machine learning models, then you have Azure Machine Learning. And Azure Bot Service is there, which helps in managing the service to build and deploy conversational agents for variety of applications in a different areas. So except this MATLAB and Microsoft Azure, you can able to access all other tools. As I said, scikit-learn, TensorFlow, Keras, PyTorch. So these tools helps you to build it's enough to build a artificial intelligence system, which is a weak artificial intelligence system. If you want to go for to build a strong or general artificial intelligence system, you may require much more tools. For example, you can go for the MATLAB, or you can go for the Microsoft Azure, or you can go for some other tools. Okay. Coming to the data sets, we discussed about the tools. As I said, tools are required in order to build up the artificial intelligence system. Without you have tools, and as I said, you require the data also, right? So without data, you cannot build an artificial intelligence system. So this artificial intelligence, in order to build an artificial intelligence system, we have certain predefined data sets that are available as a data sets repository. You can go for the Kaggle data sets, Kaggle provides a variety of data sets. Even now, COVID 2019 data set is also available in the Kaggle. So you can use this Kaggle data set in order to predict or in order to analyze the situation, COVID-19 situation also. So you can get n number of data sets in the Kaggle repository. And the UCI machine learning repository is also available. So this is one of the oldest repository, and most of this are already used for the academic papers writing, and they've taken this as a benchmark. Starting from 1970s and 1980s, you can able to get the data sets in UCI machine learning repository. Coming to the Taskmaster one, this is Taskmaster one is consists of around 13,000 task-based dialogues, which is in an English language, which includes 5,500 spoken and 7,700 written dialogues, which is created in a 2 distinct procedure, and which includes 6 domains, as I mentioned: ordering pizza, creating auto repair appointment, coffee, drinks, etc. So if you want to analyze this English based speech recognition or English based text recognition, then you can go for the Taskmaster 1 dataset repository. Then you have Open Images. Again, Open Images has a wide around 9 mega images and 9 millions of images with the labels and object bounding boxes, segmentation mask, everything is available in Open Images. Okay. If you are trying to develop an object recognition based system, then you can go for this Open Images tool dataset repository. So you can able to find many data sets, and at least 600 objects classes are available. That is, if you take a dog itself will dog class, then dog class itself will be having thousands of dogs images only. If you take a plant image, within the plant class you can find thousands of plant images itself. So if you want to perform object recognition based application, or want to build the object recognition based application, then you can go for the Open Image Dataset repository. Then audio set is available, or which consists of 632 audio event classes, and which is drawn from the YouTube, and for every 10-second sound clips, there will be a label for individuals. So you can, if you are working on speech processing, that is through the sound speech signal processing, then you can go for the audio set repository. There is the MNIST, which contains images of handwritten. If you want to build a system to analyze the handwriting, then you can go for the MNIST, which contains the images of handwritten digit classification, which is again a great entry to the deep learning. Then we have CIFAR, which contains 60,000 images broken into 10 different classes, and this can be worked on. This CIFAR dataset you can include in the Python or in a MATLAB, or for the binary version datasets. So if you download the CIFAR, if you are good in Python, you can use the CIFAR dataset in order to build an AI system. Then we have Amazon reviews, approximately 35 million reviews from the Amazon, spanning from 18 years. From 18 years, they have collected these Amazon reviews, and 35 million information is available which includes the product user information, rating, and plain text reviews, etc. If you see the Flipkart or the Amazon, once you write a comment, review in the review, before the review, you will be getting, if you say, if you take a mobile example, you'll be getting the battery, then you'll be getting the display, then you'll in your system. Coming to the knowledge on, and you should have a enough amount of knowledge on programming as well as the algorithm, and you should be able to ready to learn and upgrading the skills on a daily basis. Okay, so these are the few requirements that is required in order to build a at least weak AI system. If you can able to start with the usage of the tools, and if you can able to start working on the tools and can able to just recognize or differentiate the patterns or and predict certain things, then it's well enough. You can get a good job in the field of artificial intelligence or ML based applications. So I have taken one example through the Anaconda platform. I just import certain tools. Then I'll show you how to use those tools. Okay, as I said, so we required one, either the Python is required or MATLAB is required, or you can go for the Java also if you are good in Java, or if you're good in MATLAB, if you have licensed version, you can go for the MATLAB. Otherwise, Python is best one, where you can have n number of tools are available for the Python. Most of the people chooses Python R for the data science. Even Python can be used for the data science, but if you can go for, if you are good enough in programming through the Python, you can go for this Python only. Okay, so either you can install the Anaconda or you can install Python 3.7 or 3.8 separately. Minimum Python 2.7 plus supports the usage of the different tools. Otherwise, new versions can be used like Python 3.7, Python 3.8, like that. Otherwise, if you have Anaconda, you can use this Anaconda itself. Okay, so Anaconda is available in this website. Why I'm telling you all these things? If you won't be able to use the tools properly, and if you won't be able to download it and run the things properly, you'll be wasting your time in debugging the error itself, or you may get some error that is the DLL file is missing. So you'll be wasting your time in searching of those DLL files itself. So in order to avoid that, you can use this, you can take up this session so that it gives a gist about how to use those tools, how to create an environment, how to use those tools in the Python programming. So Anaconda installer is available. If you just click on this Anaconda link, you'll be getting a download option for Windows, Mac as well as the Linux. You have to check whether yours is a 64-bit or 32-bit system, and whether it is x86 or x64. Okay, so if the system is 64-bit, you can click on 64-bit graphical installer. If your system is just 32-bit, you can go for the 32-bit. Okay, if you are using on the Linux, you can go for this Linux also. Right? Then once you download this one, you click on .exe file to run the application, and if you click on next, you'll be getting this install button. Once you install it, you'll be getting a navigator window as well as the prompt window. This prompt window and the navigator window is available in the search button. So you can install the packages, required packages through the prompt window, or you can install the packages through the navigator window. Okay, then I'll be showing you how to create an environment. Then I'll be showing you how to create the environment through the navigator window as well as through the command window, and how to install the packages through the navigator as well as the command window. Then I'll take up one example that is with respect to scikit-learn. So first, once you install the Anaconda, if you type in the search bar, you'll be getting the Anaconda prompt as well as the Anaconda navigator. This Anaconda prompt, you can see here, through the Anaconda prompt, you can able to install the packages or the tool. Otherwise, you can go to the navigator. I've already opened that navigator window, and through this navigator window, you can able to install the packages. If you otherwise, you can go for the normal Python 3.7 version or 3.8 version. If you do, if you use that, what happens? It comes with a little amount of built-in packages, and scikit-learn, TensorFlow, and all will not be available. You have to install manually. But if you are using this Anaconda navigator, it's very user friendly, and you can install the packages easily. So that's why I prefer this Anaconda navigator, Anaconda for usage of or in order to build a AI. Okay, or if you want to use start using the tools, you can go through the Anaconda navigator instead of normal Python. Right. So this Anaconda prompt through the Conda, you just type Keras and click on the selected version, whichever is required. If you are going for GPU based application, you click on Keras GPU. Otherwise, for normal CPU architecture with the help of GNO and TensorFlow, you can click on these toolbox, and if you click on apply, you'll be getting the packages of Keras inside the Anaconda. So you can able to access this Keras library. Okay. Suppose you don't want to use this root, you have to create your own environment. So that I don't want to disturb the operating system. I'll create my own environment. I want to use that environment for my project. Then you can go to create, give the name, that is, say I have already given test, so virtual. Okay, you can give any name. So if you give the name virtual here, the location that is available, this virtual environment is available in the C drive. The path is given here. So you can find this virtual environment in that. I'll show that also. So you can check whether you want to use this virtual environment with the Python 3.7 or 3.6 or 2.7 or 3.5. Otherwise, you can use both. Even R is also available. So either for Python or you can use this virtual environment. So this virtual environment, if you click on these two checkboxes, then you can use the R programming as well as Python programming with the version. And if you don't want R, if you can just click on Python, Python 3.7 is available. So you can go, then click on create. Once you click on create, it creates a separate environment for your project. So it's still creating. So you can observe here, the built-in packages are loading onto the environment. Okay, so there it comes. So once it is created, you can find this somewhere it is. It could not able to see here, no. So we'll go to the library, where exactly it is installed. Inside this PC, C programming, users, ThinkPad. So inside Anaconda 3, inside the environments, you can observe only these two. One more environment is not created. No, exactly. 3.7 virtual. It has to come. I've created these test and test circuits are there. No, these two are the. Again, it is not coming. So that is how we can able to create. I've already created this one, test and test circuit. So if you go to test environment, it is if you just click on installed, you can see here no packages have been installed. So like built-in packages are there, not like scikit-learn and Python, NumPy and all available. And if you don't have a TensorFlow or other thing, if you want to install those things, you just click on Tensor and check to the not installed version. So you'll be getting the packages that are available. You just click on the packages that you want to, then click on apply. Once you click on apply, you'll be getting the, I think you have to, it will works in a online mode. Otherwise, if I think offline mode, you could not able to install. It shows the packages, but I'll give a try whether I can able to install in an offline mode. Some packages can be installed in the offline mode, but some packages it has to be done through the online mode. So we'll check 14 packages are available and we'll go to the installed one inside this test. I think it's not applied because as I said, the TensorFlow requires the installation through the online mode. So since I could not able to do it through the online, you can use you can, if you want to install any other tool, you can go through this. Otherwise, if you are finding difficulty in installing through the offline mode, then you can go to the command prompt and give a conda install TensorFlow or conda install scikit-learn. Scikit-learn is already built in. Otherwise, you can go for the other packages like SciPy. SciPy is also built in. Then only the TensorFlow is not built in. Otherwise, you can go for Theano or Keras, like that. So conda install Keras. Once you give this one, it automatically install all the Keras packages onto the Anaconda prompt. Fine. So then you come up with the environment, you come up with the packages that are required. Otherwise, you can work with the root itself, where you can find n number of libraries inside this root. Okay, so that is how you can able to create your own environment, and you can able to install those packages required for your environment. Then if you go to home, you can able to find this Jupyter Notebook, Spider, PyQt, Orange 3, everything. So if you are comfortable with Jupyter Notebook, you can go for it. Otherwise, if you are comfortable with Python, you can go for the Python. So if you just click on the launch, it launches the Python. So already I have opened that Spider. So here you have a editor window, a variable explorer window, and the Python console window. So if you want to create a new file, go to File, Create New. Then before writing a program, check whether the packages that you have installed is properly installed or not. In order to do that, you have to use import sklearn. Okay, sklearn is a scikit-learn. So if you just click on import sklearn, you'll be getting, if you import TensorFlow, I've already, import TensorFlow. If it is installed properly, it it comes to the next line. If not installed, suppose I have not installed Keras. So I just give import Keras. It throws that the module is not available. So, and before writing the program using this library, you directly, first you check whether it is properly installed or not by importing that particular library file inside this Spider. Then in this you can go on typing the required library. So import is used to import the library function numpy as np. So numerical Python. So in order to perform numerical analysis, numpy is used. And if you want to plot something, so you can go for matplotlib .pyplot as plt. So matplotlib, in order to plot the graphs, you can go for the matplotlib. And if you want to do some mathematical kind of operation, you can go for numpy, and you can go for pandas also, pandas as pd. Okay, so this is how you can able to import it. Then I'll show one example. As I said, data sets are very important in order to build an AI system. So in order to read that data sets could be available in the form of images or could be available in the form of a CSV file. So I'll just show one example to read the CSV file through the Panda library. So in order to do that, give a command as a data set. It's a variable name which is equal to PD. So pandas helps in reading the CSV file. So pandas, instead of using the entire as a pandas, I just use the PD. Instead of pandas, I am making to use as a PD. So PD dot read underscore CSV file, and within that you can give the command, okay, the name of that particular CSV file, and ensure that wherever you are going to save this file, in that location only this data CSV file should be available. Otherwise, what happens, you store this file in a different location and this CSV file is available in a different location, then obviously you will be getting a error. So in order to avoid that, ensure that the CSV file will be there in the same location where exactly you are saving this file. Okay, so in order to read that, you can go for the pd.read CSV file. Suppose if you get any error, usually when you are doing this importing part, you'll be getting an error that DLL file is missing, or you'll be getting the error that some packages are not installed. So that time, if the packages are not properly installed, better you reinstall it. Otherwise, you upgrade the Conda. If you are getting some DLL packages missing, then what you do, you have a website called DLL website where all the DLL files are available. The missing library DLL packages, you can search in that and you can download that DLL file and in that particular location. For example, in the C drive, in my case C drive user ThinkPad, in the Anaconda 3. So here you will be having all DLL files. In case if you are getting any DLL file missing, then what you do, download that DLL file and keep it that in the DLL file folder. Whatever the environments you have created, it will comes in the environment. And if you go to the lib and inside this, if you go to site packages, you will be finding all the packages that have been installed. For example, scikit-learn, NumPy, Matplotlib, all these packages are available inside this site packages. Whatever the packages comes inbuilt or you have installed, it will come in the site packages file path. Okay, then that's what I said. If in case any DLL file missing, then you have to store that DLL file in the Anaconda 3 DLLs. Then that DLL error will be overcome. In case you still finding any DLL error, then obviously Visual Studio will not be installed in your laptops or the system, I guess. That case, you install the Visual Studio latest version, either of 64-bit or 32-bit based on the architecture of your system, and install that Visual Studio. You will be minimizing that DLL packages error. Then if everything went fine, import the particular library and try to use it. Okay, and if you there are many references are available in the net where you can able to go through it. Individual package library functions, how to use it and all is also available. You can go through that path. Otherwise, you will be keep on wasting your time for proper installation itself. Fine. So then I'll show one program which is this simple linear regression. So I have a salary data set. Simple linear regression. So I have a salary data set where based on the year of experiences, the salary is available. This is a CSV file. So here one column is a years of experience and another column shows the salary. So based on the years of experience, the salaries are available of different employees. What I'm trying to do is I'll take up out of 30, I think 30 entries are there. Out of 30 entries, I'll make few datas as a train and few as a test. Why this train and test are required? Because in order to build an AI system, machine learning is deployed. So in order to do this machine learning, you have to train the data. In order to train the data, you can take up the data sets which is available. Otherwise, you can make this entire data set as a trained model. Otherwise, if you don't have a test data, real-time data, you can split this data set into the trained data set as well as the test data set. Okay, so before the first very important thing is you have to properly install the packages required. The second is you should have a data set. The third is the pre-processing of the data set. So pre-processing means what? Whether if you take an image, you want to filter the image, or if you would like to enhance the feature of the image, like that. If you take a data file, you have to pre-process this data, like whether it is a dependent data or whether it is an independent data. Then it comes to the splitting part. Dependent data you merge together in one single file, and independent data you keep it in a separate thing. If you don't have a dependent or independent variable, in my case I don't have a dependent variable, so I don't want to go for that. I just read the file and split the file into the training data set as well as the test data set, and you can give the size of the test as well as the training. So here I've taken 1/3 of the test size. That means what? In the entire 30 data file, I'll be taking 1/3, that is 10. So 10 acts as a test data, randomly I've taken. Then other 20 acts as a training. So as much as you have a good training data sets, you'll be getting a good accurate result. If you have the trained data set very less, out of 30, if you have only 10 trained data set and 20 as a test data, then you'll be getting a not accurate result. So you'll be getting some, you will not be able to achieve the good accurate results. So you should have large amount of test data compared to the trained data compared to the test data. Then after that, one linear regression model is applied. So this linear regression helps in clearly defines the for how much of years of experience, what is the salary. So you have a linear regression, you have a random SVM, you have other classifiers also, you can go for that. Then predict the result, train the data set, and using matplotlib, use different display the information on the through the graphical representation. So that is what we call it as a visualizing the test result. So the very first thing is you have to import. Then second thing is if you want to pre-process the data, you can go for the pre-processing. Then third case is the splitting of the data set into the test data set or the trained data set. Then visualize the results. So in order to classify it, you can go for the classifier. After classification, visualize the result through the usage of the matplotlib function. So if I run this file, I just click on save. If I run this, so you will be getting a result here. as I said, there is one thing that is salary versus experiences, and the other thing is salary versus experiences. One is with a training set, one is with a test set. So in the training set, you can see the x-axis in both in training as well as test. You can see in the x-axis that is years of experiences. In the y-axis, you can see the salary. So the blue line clearly differentiates this, that at, for example, if you take a 2 years of experience, you are supposed to get, the people were getting around 42,000. And at 10 years of experience, he'll be getting around 1,20,000. So this is about the test information. So if you can count this one, you'll be getting surely of 20 datas. In the same way, after test, after training, you'll be getting the test data set. So this test data set, I said 1/3 is of a test. That is out of 30, 10 acts as a test. So after 20 data of training, if you tell the system to predict what is the salary of at the age of for a 2 years experienced person, it gives the result around 43,000. And if you give the system to tell what is the salary for 8 years of experience, it throws around 1,10,000, right? So if you can check with the test or training set, at the 8, you'll be getting around 1,10,000, right? So suppose if you just increase this test size, that is 1/8, okay? Then more number of training sets compared to the test set. So hardly you can find only 3 or 4, and 20 around 25 to 26 you'll be having for the training. So you can increase this test size as much as you require, but if you compare the result with the previous one, so around 8 years of experience, it gives below 10,000, 1 lakh. But initially it was giving around 1,20,000, 1,10,000. But now, since you have less test size, you will be getting around 1 lakh or below 1 lakh, or almost it reaches to 1 lakh. Okay. So it all depends on how much test data you should have and how much training data sets you have. So if you have much training data set, much accurate results you'll be getting. If you have less training data sets, you'll be getting much less accurate results. Okay, and in the same way, you can observe the data's information in the variable explorer also. You have here the console window where you run the program and you got the output. You visualize the information through the graphical representation, and here you have a variable explorer window where you can able to view all this information, that is all the variables. You have xtrain, xtest, ytrain and ytest. So x and y are the dependent and independent variables in my case. So xtrain, xtest, ytrain and ytest are nothing but the test data of the dependent and training of the dependent. Ytrain is nothing but independent training data set, and ytest is nothing but the independent test data. And based on your requirement, you can increase the test size. Then you can see here in the variable explorer window, that is the xtest. So since I have taken xtest is nothing but what? It is a dependent data. So hardly I have, since I have taken test for 1/8 out of 30, 30 by 8 or around 26, 4 data are available for the testing. And if you go for xtrain, which is a dependent variable for the training, you can see here most of the around 26 informations are available for the training. In the same way, with respect to independent variable, this is by data, by test, so hardly 2, and by train, hardly you'll be getting a independent variable. So there is, if you have a different, for example, many informations in not in a numerical pattern, you'll be having string information. Then you cannot able to train the system with a string information for data CSV file. In that case, you use the proper encoder so that it converts all the informations that are available in the text format to the numerical data. So using one hot encoder through the scikit-learn package, you can go for that. And after installing the scikit-learn, we have used the scikit-learn library file tool for this splitting the data sets into training and test data. So here inside the scikit-learn, you will be having lots of member functions. So you can use those member functions as per your requirement to train the system or to make the system, to develop a AI system. So here from scikit-learn, which we call it as sklearn, we have dot cross validation, import, train, test, split. That means what? Within the sklearn library, I can go for importing the test, train, split. That is, in order to split the entire information into test as well as the train, you have this library file. So use that one in order to split the information into test as well as the training data set. If you want to apply linear regression, so you can go for from sklearn.linear model, import linear regression. So this regressor helps in fitting the simple linear regression into the training set as well as the test set. Okay, then if you can go for the matplotlib function through the pyplot. You can plot this graphical representation, and you can give the labels also through the show function. Use the through the show function, you can able to view the graphical representation of the results. So it is not necessary that always import to be on the top of your program. Wherever is required, you can go for importing that. You can see here I've written few lines of code. This I've taken from the machine learning data science class. So you can this code is available in that website. So you can go for that also, and many data sets are available in that. So on top of it, you can build your own system. Here I've just shown to take up the based on the salary, based on the experience, what could be the salary of a person. So you, in the same fashion, lots of data sets are available. So you can use those data sets through the proper tools and can build your own AI system. So that is what I would like to share you in the today's session. Then the last thing which is very important here is the references. So I have taken most of the references from the Wikipedia and not to prepare this. And if you want to, as I said, data sets are available. So if you want to use the predefined data sets that are available, you can go to this Google Tools data sets. You'll get lots of information and lots of data repository like Kaggle or could be the UCI repository. So all those things are available in this. And if you want to learn this scikit-learn tutorial, you can go for this. And lastly, this if you have a MATLAB version, MATLAB licensed one, you go to this website where you can find lots of information about the MathWorks programs. So, and finally, I would like to conclude that machine learning is a science of making a machine smarter to solve the complex problems and take certain decisions, thinks like a human, and gives a good, proper, accurate results and responses. And tools that are available, like you have different areas of your interest. If you are going to become a data science engineer, you should use tools that are available for data science. If you want to be, work with a natural language processing, then you have to use a certain tools related to natural language processing. So in the same way, in order to develop, in order to build a system, AI system, the data science, then you can go for the scikit-learn, TensorFlow, Apache Marot, or Theano. And if you want to build a system for the computer vision based application, Caffe, TensorFlow, PyTorch is available. For a natural language processing, PyTorch tool you can go for it. And this Microsoft and MathWorks gives lots of tools, sub-tools in order to build an AI system, complete AI system. In all areas, like it could be in a data science, or could be in a natural language processing, or could be in a computer vision, then you can go for these ones. And dataset repository is available, so you can go for this research.google tools datasets, where you can find lots of datasets, repositories. You can download those datasets, store it in your system, try to build a AI, at least weak AI. Then at least you should have a programming knowledge of Python, or could be the R. Then you should have at least basic mathematical knowledge, because many algorithms mathematical model comes, so which is again based on the linear algebra. So you can use that, upgrade the technical skills, and through the proper knowledge and proper usage of the tools, try to build a AI system. At least start trying with the predictions, recognitions, and that part. Then you can upgrade the things to the next version. So that's all. Before conclude my talk, I would like to thank the principal, HOD of CSE department, the management, and the committee, organizing committee of ATME College, as well as I would like to thank our college principal, Shikumar sir, and my colleagues, and everyone for their kind support and the encouragement. And that's all. Thanks for patience listening. And if you have any queries, you can.
Yes, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for imparting your knowledge on artificial intelligence and the tools. And thanks for giving us insight into the various tools available for artificial intelligence. It was informative and effective. Thank you. We have two queries. The first question is, what are the ethical and technical issues in artificial intelligence? And what is your say about risk assessment? This is the first question.
Okay. Artificial, as I said, artificial intelligence systems, there are many challenges, as I mentioned. Legal issues are there, and you have issues with respect to the ethical one, whether the system is working or not, or whether it is human interfaceable and all. So system should, you should build a system in such a way that it should quite interface with the human. It should not harm the humans, and obviously, legal issues to be considered, because as I said, in order to develop artificial intelligence system, you require lot of amount to be invested if you are trying to build a at least general artificial intelligence system. That is not stronger, at least general artificial intelligence system. So those are the artificial intelligence system which works just like a human. So if you want to make a system in that way, then obviously you have to consider all the challenges. It should not harm the humans, and it should quite interface with the humans. It should respond to the humans. If the system fails, obviously what happens, if the algorithm fails to, if you deploy some algorithms into it and if it fails to work, then what happens? Obviously, it's start malfunctioning. So which is again, against to the natures, or the against to the nature that we have already that we developed, which we have developed for a particular purpose. So you have to destroy that kind of a system immediately if it is going beyond your range. So that's why the people have risk management will be there in order to develop the system, and the research team will have will consider all those things in their mind, and they develop the system. Otherwise, if it goes beyond our range, then obviously you are supposed to destroy it. And moreover, if you want to build an artificial intelligence system, the human intelligence is required. Without human intelligence, it is quite difficult to build an AI system. So obviously, with your knowledge only, since you have built a system, obviously it should work according to your rules and regulation. If it goes beyond that rules and regulation, you should destroy that particular system immediately.
Okay. Okay. There is another question. I need to use a recurrent or artificial neural network with API with dataset. Can we do this using MATLAB? If not, which platform is convenient to perform the above?
One first statement, ma'am, please.
Yeah, I'll repeat. I need to use a recurrent or artificial neural network with API with dataset. Can we do this using MATLAB? If not, which platform is convenient to perform the above?
Okay, so since in order to build an artificial intelligence system, artificial neural network is the base for it. So in order to build a recurrent, you can, as I said, MATLAB is available. So unless and until if you have a paid licensed version MATLAB, you can able to develop the system, artificial intelligence system for recurrent thing using MATLAB. Unless and until with a free trial, you cannot able to develop the system. If you want to develop a recurrent network with open tools, you can go for the Python library function with the scikit-learn or the TensorFlow. Using those tools, you can develop the recurrent network, which again, artificial neural network is a base of artificial intelligence. So obviously, when you install scikit-learn or TensorFlow, you can go for that particular TensorFlow or scikit-learn. If you don't have a MATLAB licensed version, open source tools through the scikit-learn or the TensorFlow, you can develop the system.
Okay. There is another question. What is your opinion on implementing AIs in automobile industry for reducing accidents, and how much is this efficient?
Okay, as I said, Robert Bosch, Tesla companies already come up with self-driving cars. Even the Google has a self-driving car. So implementing, in order to develop this self-driving cars, it is this entire system to be built on AI platform. Not entire, at least a part of the system to be developed with the AI, artificial intelligence. So that's what I was giving an example. So in the Tesla, they have used PyTorch in order to do the computation with respect to the vision part. So take an example that you have a camera which can able to taking that image and check that at what distance the car is in front of you, or at what distance the trucks or the vehicles are in front of the car, your car, or at what distance the car is coming from the rear end. So at what distance the neighbors' cars are. So through the cameras only you can able to check that information. So in order to do that, the artificial intelligence system is required. So if you can able to check at what distance the neighbor cars or the front cars are there, obviously you can able to predict that the accident is going to happen or not. If you are going at the same speed, then if this car distance is at very shorter range, then obviously the system will come to know that you are going to hit the front car. So in order to avoid this kind of accidents, obviously the system built in AI can predict that I'm going to hit a front end car, and then it suddenly takes a reaction that it since it knows that it's going to hit a car, it suddenly takes up the decision that it should reduce the speed or it should put some brakes. So obviously when it reduces the speed or puts the brake, it can avoid the accident. So that is how the self-drivings are coming up with. And nowadays the cars are getting upgraded, giving a beep sounds, or if the speeds are very more and if we are very near to the cars, it gives a beep sounds or gives some kind of intimation that you should avoid the speeds and all. So if you develop, you can able to develop this artificial intelligence system in order to avoid this accidents.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I think I don't see any other queries other than this. I think we have come to the end of today's session. I wholeheartedly thank you once again for accepting our invitation and for being part of this event. Now, I request our HOD, Dr. Budegoda sir, to speak few words about today's session.
Thank you, Kirtana. Good afternoon to all. As we know, the Department of Computer Science Engineering organized 3 days on latest technology. Day 3, the topic was Introduction to Artificial Intelligence and its tools. The resource person, Ms. Nagalakshmi T.S., assistant professor and has given the inside view of the artificial intelligence overview and the different tools which are required to develop the AI system. So hopefully the participants will take up this view or the work to develop the AI systems. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
very
sir.
much, madam.
Thank you for giving an opportunity, sir.
Okay, on behalf of the department and the college, I'm thankful to deliver this today's topic on artificial intelligence. And also, I'll thank all the participants constantly last 3 days participate in the 3 days webinar. Thankful to all the participants. So I'm thankful to our management and the principal who are supportive to organize these type of webinars. Okay, to the students or the participants. Thank you very much, sir. So lastly, I'll congratulate our colleagues Kirtana, Avyashi, Tarun Kumar BH. So wonderfully they organized this in a virtual way. I'm congratulate all the team members. I'll continue the same support to organize these type of webinars. Once again, thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I thank all the participants for your support. And I thank once again our beloved HOD, Dr. Budegoda sir. And I thank the management and principal for encouraging and supporting us in conducting this event. As a token of appreciation, we are sharing a virtual certificate for you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks again. And thanks to all the professor who has joined us in all the 3 days webinar. Thanks to all the participants. Feedback link will be shared for all of you. Please kindly fill it up and your certificates will be issued. If you still have any queries regarding the presentation, you can post. We will forward your queries to the speakers. Thank you again. Thanks everyone. Stay home and stay safe.